So I'm sure many people have questions regarding my alternative means of city income. It takes money to make money, so where am I getting the money to start these city businesses? And I've come up with three main ways in my head. And the first one would simply be to start the money using collected city taxes. I would not wait to start any of my city businesses because money now is better than money later. So, what I would probably wind up doing is borrowing against the, I guess, following year. I would take out a loan against what I would project, city revenue, property taxes to be the next year. And so the loan money that I receive would be the money I use to start the businesses. And then there's option two, where I allow uh, Chicago residents to invest in the businesses themselves as stockholders. And so I would open some sort of private commercial exchange within Chicago that services the Chicago businesses. And I'm not sure about the details of it or how it would work, but I would like to close off public investment of these businesses or items to only be for local residents within the Chicagoland area or maybe within just the state of Illinois. And option three is actually to start a local bank, like a community bank that is backed or run by the city of Chicago. And so by banking with Chicago Bank or Shy Bank, whatever it's called, we will use that money to invest in these businesses in the same way, if you go to a private bank like Chase Bank or a community bank, I don't know any community banks, but if you went to a bank like Chase Bank, Fifth Third Bank, BMO Harris Bank, Chase Bank, they take the money you deposit in there and they reinvest that money as loans given out into the community. In a perfect world, that is how banks work. Instead of, taking that money and foreclosing on people's houses or buying up property on the cheap, in a perfect world, the money used, the money banked in a large bank goes towards uplifting the community by being reinvested into small businesses. But Shy Bank would use that money to do the same thing, except for the first few years of our deposits, we very likely will not be offering public loans. That money will go towards funding our new businesses. And another new business I've been milling around in my head is actually Chicago Telecommunications, or as I call it for short in my head, ChiCom. I was Well, I'm actually a little embarrassed. I kept staring at this pan up here on the stove, wondering to myself, why is my water not boiling yet? And my burner's not on. But what was I talking about? Oh, Chicom, Chicago Telecommunications. I was looking around for more ideas. That's actually boiling really quickly. But I was looking around for ideas for more business ventures. And I came across I believe it's called the Career Ladder. Or no, that's not. I think it's the guy who does the Career Ladder. I'm not sure what the show was. I think it might have been the Career Ladder. But that one's too small. And it came to my attention that T-Mobile is the most valued German company. And I do not remember T-Mobile's total valuation, but I understand that their stock price is $250 a share. Which is, a lot of money. Which means there's a lot of market value still left to be attained by other competitors. And so it got me thinking that we should enter in as that other competitor, because telecommunications is a rapidly growing, expanding industry with a basically infinite projected valuation, because human society is gotten to the point that we will not be able to live without telecommunications, without internet, without call, without phone service, without text service. And so it's one of those easy bets, to be honest. It also has an exceedingly low entry to barrier and operating cost, because a lot of telecommunications businesses only have to pay for their towers, their infrastructure and their staff. There's really limited expenses in those businesses. There's not much outward cooperation that needs to happen. There's not much technology that needs to be bought. But there are many ways that we can improve on what telecommunication services offer. Many American homes, and especially within southern Illinois and western Illinois, out past Rockford, past Champaign, have terrible service. A lot of these communities, you'll go from one city to the next, and you won't have service anymore by most major carriers. T-Mobile won't carry you. AT&T doesn't carry you. Metro PCS has very limited service in these areas. And so there's a lot of money left on the table that's being ignored by external carriers, because they don't view regional service as like being worth it enough, to be honest. And that's where we can step in, because they aim to maximize profit to hit that $200 a share stock valuation. They purposely leave a lot of these areas unserviced because it doesn't make economic sense to come out to some of these people. And so we can actually make money by being the only people who provide quality care in these areas. Um, in a lot of rural communities, you have to wait like 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week to get a technician out to service you. And so it wouldn't even be hard to beat the quality provided by a lot of these people. I know a lot of people would argue that Starlink kind of would have beat us to it, but I would disagree because we all agree that at best, Elon Musk is a con artist, and at worst, he is a financial mistake. I do not trust Starlink to come to any major use to get any sort of like wide adoption. Like every time I think about Elon Musk, I just ask myself, like, where's the Tesla Roadster? Because I've been hearing about the Tesla Roadster since I was born in 2001. I think I first saw a magazine with the Tesla Roadster in it in like 2005. And yet, you can look on the moon and see a Tesla Roadster. But if you look in your backyard, if you look out in the street, if you look out into Chicago, if you look out into whatever city you are, there is no Tesla Roadster in the same way there will be no Starlink service. There will be no boring tunnel. There will be no Tesla autopilot. It's like these things are not going to come to fruition. And so it is better, it's more in our interest to capitalize on what we know is an emerging market and step into that ourselves.